Today we're going to show you how to set a primitive conibear or body hold trap, as they call it, and we're going to get right to it. Okay, in the two prior videos I show how you put your supplies together, how you build the conibear, and get it assembled. And now here we are out in the field, and we're going to set this today and show you how it's set. Now if you'll take a quick notice, off here to the left you can see that there's a game trail going through here. Now this is a regularly traveled game trail. Now I know that we've got non-predators following this game trail, which means the predators are also following this game trail. They like to take the path of least resistance typically. They'll stick to the same trail. So off of this trail, off here to the right, you'll see I've got my two upright cross members assembled. I have my trigger, I have my V-sticks for the trap itself, and in this location off to the right is where I'm going to be setting this. And of course I've got a baton for pounding these cross members in. So I'm going to go off the video for a moment. I'm going to move the camera and I'm going to show you how to set this in the ground. So you hang with me. Okay, so here we are. I'm going to just set my V-sticks and my trigger pieces off to the side. Now what you're going to do is you're going to take these two cross members and you take the cross members themselves and face them to each other. Now you're going to want about maybe 3/4 of an inch to an inch space between these two after these are staked in the ground. So we're going to stake the first one in. Now keep in mind I'm about 3.5, 4 feet off that game trail. You don't want to be right on the game trail. In fact, try not to disturb that game trail at all. And disturb this area as little as possible. Now, what you do is you take your V-stick. Now you've pre-assembled this. Take your V-stick and set it between these two and check the fit. And you're going to want them to move freely within these two, and if they don't, spread these apart a little bit. Now I've got a small knot in here that seems to be getting in the way, so I'll just take my knife out, or you could use your pack saw and smooth that knot off. So that I can be sure that this V-stick is going to move freely between these two. Okay, they move freely through the two uprights. Now I'll just leave the V-stick sit there for now. Now I've got my trigger system here, and that trigger system will be mounted back here, straight back from that V. Now you take your 7 notch, face it to the front, or you can face it to the side, because my trigger tree is going to be over here, my engine for firing this. So I'm going to want to face that 7 away from that possibly, or maybe towards it. You will have to determine that as you put this together, where it'll best sit to have your trigger. And you want this far enough back that they have to stick their head through this V to get to that bait. Now this is a fairly long stake. It's 18 inches or more, because you want it in there good and hard and deep. Okay, then your trigger will be resting right on there. Now I'm going to go off camera for a minute because I have to get the spring, the engine set up, and then we'll go right back on camera and we'll continue with this. Now what I've done is I've got my cross members all staked in. I've got my trigger staked in, pounded in really deep, because it's got to hold a lot of weight. This engine, this pole, it's got a lot of pressure to it, a lot of power, and you want to make sure that that bait trigger stake is set really deep. Okay, now I've lashed my trigger and my V-sticks to this engine. Okay, now you take your, see if I can get the trigger out of the way. There we go. Take your V-sticks. You're going to set those down into that set of cross members. Spread them out. Want them spread nice and wide. Okay. Now your line going through the hoop is over on this side over here. Okay? Now you take your trigger and you be very careful with this, because if it slips and comes loose and comes flying out of here and your face is over this thing, those spikes on that bait trigger could nail you. So you be very careful. Now you just lower your engine down, get your trigger in place, and whatever you do, do not get your face over that. I like to reach in from the inside usually, and you just slowly set your trigger. You find that spot where it'll hook. Be very careful and slowly, very slowly, ease the pressure off. And there it is. It's set. Now this line, make sure it's not tangled up like it is right now to your lever. Spread that lever out good and wide, like I said. Oops. That string's not going to get tangled. And there you have it. It's all set. Now before you would set that trigger, you'd put the bait on the ends of those points. Now that animal's going to come in like this because it's fully surrounded. They can't go anywhere but through here. The minute they touch that bait stick, this thing will fire. And what I've done is I've cut some ferns because they're all over the place, and I'm going to disguise this, make it look a little more natural. Plus it will encourage them to come through the front door. And there you have it. Primitive conibear, body grip, body hold, whatever you want to call it. Now we're going to fire it. Let you see what happens. Now as I stated, I'm about 3 to 4 feet off a game trail. Now that animal's going to come in off this game trail, and he's going to come in here. And he's going to come up here, he's going to smell that bait, and he can't reach it unless he goes inside of this. And once he gets in here, he's going to touch that bait stick and start messing with that bait, and pow, he's nailed. Did you see how that slammed shut? It's got that stick in there so tight, I can't even pull it out of there. You got him. Boom. Just like that. This set is big enough you could take, I would say, all the way up to a fox, a raccoon, anything in the medium, smaller medium range predator will be attracted to this. And as you can see, it works just fine. It fired that trigger off. These two stakes nailed that animal, slammed him against these uprights, or these cross members, broke his neck because his whole head's going to be in here. If it's a smaller animal, he got all the way in there, it would be around his rib cage, and it would have slammed him up, collapsed his ribs, and he would have died almost instantly. So this is a sure trap. It's deadly to the animal. It's quick. And very rare will they fire unless an animal has tripped it. So, there you have it. There's a primitive body hold trap for you. I hope you enjoyed this video. From everybody at Camp Wilderness Thriving Fundamentals, this is Sty North saying you all have a nice day.